All right, greetings everybody, Del Puckett here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to wire up a single coil pickup. All right, we're going to be having an input jack and a volume control knob. Okay, so first things first is that we're going to need some things, right? We're going to use obviously some wire cutters, and I have wire strippers. You don't need these things necessarily, but if you have them, it's nice. I have extra black and white or black and red wiring. Obviously, you're going to need a pickup. Now, these single coil pickups, they come already with the red and the white and the ground. So typically what I do is I put the white and the ground together, and I'll show you how to do that. Make that be one side, and I put this to the ground side, and then this is the red is the hot side. A potentiometer. You can get these things anywhere. I think this one here is a 250K potentiometer. I'll show you how to ground that thing. And then obviously the input jack. So things to keep in mind. The drill that you're going to need is going to need to be a little bit larger than the hole for both the input jack. This is the drill for that guy. And then the drill for the shaft of this guy is going to have to be big enough so that this goes all the way through it. Okay, this looks like it's a little bit bigger, so maybe this isn't the right size. And then obviously you will need a soldering iron. This one is hot. And then some solder. Now, I also use, where is it here? It's hiding, oh yeah, this flux. I actually inherited this from my father-in-law. This is probably from the 1960s or whatever. This is flux. This helps the solder flow. And then obviously some good glasses like that so you can really see what you're doing. Maybe you don't need them, but these actually come in really handy for me. So let's get started. All right, so I tried to draw a little diagram. Go ahead and pause it if you want to take a look at that. So basically the pickup has got two wires that come out. The red wire is going to go to the input side of the volume. The ground side is going to go to the far right section. The output of the volume is going to go to the plus side of the output jack, and the ground wire is going to go to the negative side of the output jack. And then also the ground wire is going to have to come to the bridge also to ground your bridge properly. So take a good look at that. This is the diagram that I'm going to use. Okay, this potentiometer here, the lower left is the input, the middle is the output, and the lower right is the ground. Now what I like to do on these guys here, what I do is I take this lower right little peg and I bend it back so that it touches, and then I hit it with some solder, and then the entire back little part of this chassis becomes my ground, right? So I touch everything to the back of that little chassis part right there, and I can ground everything. Okay, as far as the input jack is concerned here, both of these pegs, they don't look the same. This peg here has got like a little narrow waist, and that is the hot side. That little narrow waist part connects to this little tab here. Now that little tab is going to touch to the middle of this guy here, and that's the hot. Okay, the tab that has no waist on it, that goes to the center part here, which goes to the ground portion of this. All right, so that's important. Okay, so now what I do is I strip these guys so that there's about a little bit, about a 1/4 inch of wire, bare wire on every one of these things. And again, remember, I take the ground wires, the bare wires, and I combine those with the white wire, okay, so that they're all together. So it's basically only two wires now, the ground side and the hot side. Okay, so now we're going to put everything together, and then we're going to start wiring it up. All right, here it is. I have the single coil, the potentiometer volume control, and the input jack. in the box, all ready to go. All right, let's do this. All right, we are ready to solder. I like to keep my soldering iron clean, so what I do is I got a wet rag here, little paper towel that I use to keep this thing clean. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this flux with a Q-tip and I'm going to touch it to the tabs of my input jack and across the tabs in the back of my potentiometer. And then I'm also going to dip the wires of the pickup, and then I already pre-measured my little jumpers that are going to go from the potentiometer to the output jack. And then also the ground wire for the bridge. I just get some of this flux and get it on there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the tips of those wires, and then also on the back of the potentiometer, and then across all the tabs. And then where I bent over that ground tab, I'm just going to put a little bit of solder there to make that a good connection. The positive side and the ground side. Okay, so now the white and the ground of the pickup are going to go to the chassis side, the ground side. The nice thing about having solder on the wire and the potentiometer is all you got to do is touch it, let it melt, and it'll flow on both. That's the advantage of tinning it. And then you want to let it dry before you let it wiggle off. All right, so this little jumper here is going to go from the output of the potentiometer to the waste side of the input jack. All right, last but not least, all right, here's the ground side of this guy to the output. All right, I'm doing this left-handed, and you can't see it. Sorry, guys. I'll show you close up here. Okay, so now all I got to do now is just the ground jack. All right, so hopefully you can see that there. Not the best job, but it'll certainly work. We'll plug it in and touch it and see how it works. All right, the best way to test it out is to plug it into an amplifier just like you would and turn up the volume on the amplifier. Turn up the volume on this thing here and all right, looks like it's going to work. Volume down. Volume up. Yay! All right. All right, guys, we are done. I did install one final ground wire to the back of the chassis of the potentiometer. This is going to be for the bridge. It's very important that your bridge and all your strings are grounded so you don't have any static problems through your amp. Here's the wiring diagram one more time. So be sure to tune in and listen to this guitar sound. That'll be the next video I post when this was done, and so we can hear that. I did put a Donate Now button on my About page on my YouTube channel, so if you feel as though you're getting something out of these videos and you wish to donate to me, by all means, you are certainly encouraged. But that's it. I hope you learned something from this video. And if you have any questions at all, be sure to hit me up and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. All right, take care, guys.